Hey guys, so I want to talk to you about how we're going to be taking notes this year. I do a flipped classroom. So what that means is what you're getting right now is how you're going to receive your notes. It's going to be in a video. I'm going to record it for you. And then that way you're going to be able to use these notes to review, go at your own pace, and take them however you see fits best for you. Okay? So mine you're going to see in Cornell style because that's kind of something we do. We are in Abbott school. So you can see I kind of gave you an example of how they're going to start. So I have an essential question at the top. How can you solve one-step equations? That's more of a basic level question. We're just getting started with this. And you can see over here we're going to start with the vocab review. So I also put down a question over here, something that I can use to study that says define properties of equality. Now remember, the reason that you have this column is so that if you need to, you can flip over your paper and you can use it to study. Okay? So, sorry, that's my air conditioning. So get caught up. I want you to write down the essential question, write down the vocab. If I were you, I would probably pause it. That way you can write it all down, however much you need, and then you can continue when you are ready. So I'm just going to review these properties really quick. All of these properties literally mean that whatever happens to one side happens to the other, and it produces an equivalent equation. So I'm just going to write down what that would look like algebraically, and then if you want to add words, whatever you want, you can. So addition means adding the same number of each side makes it an equivalent equation. So if A equals B, then A plus C equals B plus C, right? Because if A equals B, they're the same. You add them to both sides, it's going to give you the same thing. So that's kind of what all these are going to look like. So the same would be for subtraction. So if A equals B, then A minus C equals B minus C. Okay? So again, if you need a pause, stop it, whatever you need to, make sure you get all that written down. We're also going to say the same with multiplication and division. So if you multiply on both sides, it produces the same if you divide. So if A equals B, then A times C equals B times C. And if A equals B, then A divided by C equals B divided by C. Okay? Now, I'm going to chunk my notes. I'm really bad at drawing straight lines, so I just do squigglies. And the reason that we're chunking is because we're going to a new section. I am done with vocab, and now I'm going to start my practice. Okay? So make sure you get this copied down, and then get ready to move on. So now that we have those definitions, let's do a little bit of practice. So I'm going to give you an example, and I'm going to do it with you. And then you guys will have something to try it alone. Okay? So I have x minus 7 equals negative 6. So we've talked about drawing a mirror. It's not necessary. You do not absolutely have to do it, but it's a good way to help you remember that whatever happens on one side happens on the other. So you have to undo operations. So undo subtraction. So how do you undo subtraction? Well, you're doing the opposite. So you're going to add 7 to both sides. So over here you just have x equals. And then you should know that if you have 6 negatives and 7 positives, you're going to be left with 1 positive. So x equals 1. Now something that's really important to do when you solve equations is to check them. So to check it, you take whatever x equals and you substitute it in for x. So it says x equals 1. So I'm going to put 1 minus 7 equals negative 6. Well, is that true? If I have 1 and I take away 7, well, yes. Negative 6 equals negative 6. Therefore, I proved it is true. Okay? So that is how you solve a one-step. So that was a pretty basic one. We're going to try another one. So if you need to pause it, make sure that you have this written down. Go ahead and do whatever you need. Now, the second problem is one that is going to be similar. You've seen it before, and I noticed we struggled with it. So I'm going to have k over 8 equals 6. Okay? So that's saying k divided by 8 equals 6. So again, I'm going to draw my mirror just to remind me. And then we need to undo division. So we know that this is k being divided by 8. So to undo that, we need to do the opposite. Opposite of division, multiplication. So you know that those cancel. Over here you have k. And then you should know that 6 times 8 is 48. And you have your answer. Again, to make sure that you're right, we're going to check it. And you should be able to know that 48 divided by 8 equals 6. Therefore, 6 equals 6. So that way you know that you have it right. Okay? So now I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a challenge. I'm going to give you number 3. And what I want you to do is after you write it down, I want you to pause the video and I want you to solve this one. H plus 2 pi equals 3 pi. Yes, my pi's are not squiggly. I'm not good at it, so I just draw them flat. Okay? So try it, pause it. Actually give yourself a chance. Don't just get the answer and then come back. So this is actually easier than it looks. So I'm going to draw my mirror, and I have to get rid of a positive 2 pi. So undo addition. Opposite addition is subtraction. So subtract 2 pi minus 2 pi. Notice I left it in terms of pi. It's way easier that way. 2 pi is gone. Now I just have h. And if I have 3 pi's minus 2 pi's, I am just left with 1 pi. So h equals pi. And again, you could check it. 1 pi plus 2 pi's does give you 3 pi's. You know it is correct. Okay? So make sure you guys got that. Get ready. I got to turn my page, so give me a second. I'm going to start on a clean new page. So I flipped my page over. I drew my line. I'm going to give you one more example before I want you guys to try these on your own. This one is going to be a little more difficult. So this is number 4, and it's going to be negative 3/4 n equals negative 2. Okay? I know that looks difficult. Let's try this one together. So this right here is multiplication. So we have to undo multiplication. The problem is the opposite of this would be dividing. But you have to remember that we don't divide with fractions. We keep, change, flip. So you're actually going to be multiplying it by 4/3. Okay? And you're going to be doing that on both sides. So those are going to cancel, so you're going to have n equals. Now, if that's kind of hard to see, just remember that's like saying negative 2/1 times negative 4/3, and you should just know that that's going to give you 8/3. Okay? I know you might be thinking that's a really hard number. I don't know if I did it right. Well, how do you know you're right? You check it. Okay? And when you check it, you take negative 3/4 times your answer, and it has to equal negative 2. Well, you know that you can cross-reduce. 3 divided by 3 is both 1. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. I don't have to have that 1 underneath. It means the same. And a negative times a positive is a negative. Okay? So again, guys, if that was too fast for you, rewind it, go back, watch it, and pause it whenever you need. Okay? Again, I am going to chunk because the next part is for you to practice. Okay? So make sure you get that done and then get ready to move on. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to have you do is some practice and problem solving. I'm going to have you do these on your own. We will probably use them tomorrow as a warm-up. Otherwise, these are really good reference for you for your test or quiz. So I'm just going to push these up so that you can see them. And then make sure that you have them all written down. And make sure you get them solved. So number 1, g minus 16 equals 8. Number 2, 7/10 or 0.7 plus y equals negative 1.34. That's also the same as 34/100. Number 3 is 0.9 w or 9/10 w equals 18. And then number 4 is 1/2 x equals 5. Now, number 5 is a word problem because we do have to know how to write equations for real-world situations. So it says, your friend's bowling score is 105. Your final score is 14 pins less than your friend's. Write and solve an equation to find your final score. Okay? So these are your 5 problems. Again, I highly, highly suggest that you pause this. Make sure you get them all written down before you start trying to solve them. Okay? Make sure you have all your notes. And again, review as much as needed, rewatch, pause, rewind, whatever is necessary so that you understand all your notes. Thanks, guys.